Welcome to our channel, Beast Whisperer. In Botswana's Moremi Game Reserve, veteran ranger Daniel Kumalo patrols the dirt roads along the lake in his beat-up pickup truck. The afternoon sky is a brilliant golden yellow, and the distant chirping of birds is mixed with the rhythmic sound of water lapping against the shore. As he drives north out of the game reserve, Daniel hears a loud bang and a roar. He slams on the brakes, turns off the engine, grabs the binoculars from the passenger seat, and looks closely at the sound. What emerges is a shocking sight: an adult leopard surrounded by a herd of buffalo in an open area. Daniel's experience tells him that the leopard may have attacked a young animal, prompting the buffalo to come in for a furious revenge. The brutal blows send the leopard flying high into the air and slamming it to the ground, causing it to scream in pain. Dust swirled. The sound of buffalo roaring echoed throughout the area, creating a dense atmosphere of tension and danger. Daniel gripped the steering wheel tightly, his heart beating fast, knowing that if he rushed in now, both his and the leopard's lives would be in danger. Suddenly, a powerful push from the leader buffalo threw the leopard into the lake by the swamp, creating a splash. The herd of buffaloes, after witnessing the leopard fall into the lake, slowly left, leaving it to sink into the water. The lake's surface quickly returned to its calm state, with only a few ripples in a widening circle where the leopard had sunk. Daniel observed closely, his heart aching as he saw no signs that the leopard was still alive. He tightened his grip on the tranquilizer gun, approaching the edge of the lake, his eyes attentively following every movement of the water's surface. Tiny bubbles suddenly emerged from the middle of the lake, signaling the fragile life that remained. Realizing the dire situation, Daniel understood that if he delayed a few more seconds, the leopard would drown right before his eyes. With many years of experience, he did not hesitate to jump into the lake, even though the muddy water was waist-deep and hindered every step. The mud was slippery, the strong, fishy smell stuck to his clothes, but Daniel only focused on finding the direction of the bubbles to approach the leopard. The cold water made his body numb, but the will to save the leopard made him forget all the difficulties he was facing. Finally, Daniel touched the leopard's neck and shoulders, feeling its body heavy, limp, and unresisting. He used all his strength to pull the leopard towards the shore, water flowing down its patchy fur. Laying the leopard on its side on the shore, Daniel let water flow from its mouth and nose before starting emergency rescue. Daniel knelt next to it, put his ear close to the leopard's nose to check for breathing, but could not feel any signs of life. He immediately placed both hands on the leopard's solid chest and began to perform strong, steady chest compressions. While pressing, Daniel shouted loudly, hoping that the familiar sound could stimulate the animal's survival reflex. Mud and water splashed all over his sleeves, but Daniel did not stop, his eyes still steadfast. The continuous chest compressions were to maintain blood circulation, keeping the leopard's life from being completely extinguished. Occasionally, he bent down very close to check if the weak breathing had returned. After about 15 minutes, he clearly felt a weak heartbeat returning under his palm. Daniel breathed a sigh of relief, his eyes shining with joy when he knew that the leopard had escaped the jaws of death. He stepped back carefully, observing the lacerations and bruises covering the leopard's body, knowing that it needed immediate treatment. Daniel decided to call his teammates to help transport it to the ranger station. Daniel quickly ran to the car, turned on the radio, and urgently reported the situation to the ranger team working nearby. He described the incident in detail and requested that the anesthesia equipment and specialized transport cage be brought immediately. In the crackling of the radio, his teammates immediately confirmed and said that they were on their way to the scene. About 30 minutes later, 2 other rangers appeared carrying full rescue equipment. The leopard was still lying motionless, breathing weakly, eyes half open with a tired look, no longer able to resist. The team approached carefully, injecting a light anesthetic to ensure the safety of the transportation process. They coordinated smoothly to carry the leopard into a large iron cage in the pickup truck. The cage door was locked tightly, firmly secured to avoid any accidents during the move. The car immediately set off towards the central ranger station of Moremi, passing through bumpy and dusty roads. Daniel sat in the passenger seat, his eyes following the leopard's every breath through the iron bars behind. As soon as the car stopped in front of the station, the rescue team immediately took the leopard to the medical room for emergency treatment. Veterinarians in white coats quickly walked over to receive the leopard, their eyes filled with concentration and determination. The leopard was placed on a large examination table. The doctors carefully examined it from head to tail, not missing any details. A doctor quickly prepared a portable X-ray machine to determine the condition of the bones and joints. The results showed no serious fractures, only a few soft tissue injuries that needed to be treated. Initial diagnosis: the leopard was severely exhausted, severely lacking oxygen due to drowning, along with some external wounds. The medical team disinfected all the wounds with a specialized antiseptic solution. The deep wounds were carefully sutured, then bandaged with gauze and medical tape. An IV was attached to the leopard's legs to replenish water and electrolytes. Antibiotics and pain relievers were immediately injected. Another doctor gently wiped away the mud and dried blood that remained on its yellow spotted fur. After being stabilized, the leopard was placed in a separate iron cage in the intensive care room with a 24/7 surveillance camera. Daniel sat outside the glass door, watching every weak movement inside the cage. The sound of the machines and the leopard's steady heartbeat made him feel a little more relieved. He had a strong belief that it would overcome this dangerous period. Outside, the Moremi night was quiet, with only the sound of insects echoing throughout the space. The next morning, Daniel returned to the care room and saw that the leopard had opened its eyes, blinking slightly, looking around with a tired look. It tried to stand up, but its shaky legs made it sit down again, sighing tiredly. Daniel smiled, placing a tray of fresh meat and a bowl of clean water near the edge of the cage for it. At first, the leopard only drank a few sips of water and then lay down to rest, not having enough energy to eat. Daniel visited every day, chatting gently to help it calm down and get used to its surroundings. On the second day, the leopard began to eat a few small pieces of meat, showing positive progress in its health. The wounds had begun to dry. The bandages were changed to prevent infection and keep the stitches clean. The leopard walked a few laps around the cage. Its gait was still a bit slow, but its eyes were brighter and more flexible. The doctor checked daily and noted signs of rapid recovery. On the third day, it was strong enough to be moved to a semi-wild cage, larger and with trees. The new space allowed it to exercise more, regaining its muscle strength and agility. Daniel was still the one who brought food every morning, standing from a distance watching it eat and drink. Sometimes it growled softly when it saw him, as a familiar reaction to its rescuer. Its alertness gradually returned, signaling that it was ready to return to wildlife. Daniel knew that the day it was released back into the forest was approaching. 10 days later, all the wounds had healed completely, and its yellow spotted fur had grown back smooth and healthy. The rangers did a final check, confirming that the leopard was ready to return to its natural habitat. The pickup truck took it to a large grassland far away from the residential area and the herd of wild buffalo that had attacked it. Daniel opened the cage door, took a few steps back, his eyes following the leopard's every move. It stepped out slowly, sniffing the scent of the wind and the earth, then stopped to look at him for a long time. In just a moment, it darted away, disappearing into the golden grass under the Moremi sun. Daniel stood still, a feeling of relief and pride filling his body. He hoped the leopard would remember the valuable survival lesson from this incident forever. On the way back, he smiled as he recalled every moment of trying to save it. It would be a deep memory in his difficult but also brilliant life as a ranger. Together, we can keep the spirit of the wild alive. Subscribe now to Beast Whisperer for more real stories from nature's heart.